And he's also been saying recently that the greatest threat facing the country isn't China, it's not Russia, it's the enemy from within. And he's talking about Democrats. He even named a few, one of them being California Democrat Adam Schiff. You hear this type of rhetoric. I mean, as a Republican, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, hey, stop? Are you thinking this is just Trump? Can we just say this is just Trump anymore?
The problem with just Trump is that other members of Congress or senators or local officials, right, city council, whatever, they pick up on this rhetoric and they begin to mirror it. And I don't think that's healthy. Now, I'm not a fan of Adam Schiff in any sort of way. I think that he is not the best member of Congress. I am a Republican. I'm just not a fan of Trump. However, I think using language like that against your own fellow Americans is not necessarily helpful in moving our country in a way where we're partaking in civil discourse in an appropriate way where we can have conversations and disagree. It's okay to disagree, but I think we need to be smarter about the language that we're using, which is something that Trump hasn't necessarily done. He's been very divisive with his language since he's been running for president. I don't think that's healthy for our country.
I do want to ask you about some of the top issues before I let you go. And one of those, as we know, it's no surprise, is the economy. And Trump has had the edge and the advantage on this issue for a while now, but a recent AP NORC poll found that Harris and Trump are pretty much neck and neck when it comes to who people think would handle the economy better. So in this final stretch, when people are thinking about the issues, when they're thinking about their wallet, when they're thinking about the prices at the grocery store, what should his pitch and what should Republicans pitch to Americans be surrounding the economy?
I think the strongest message that we do have is on the economy. And you have to remind folks, well, how much were you paying for eggs a year ago compared to now? How much were you paying for gas a year ago compared to now? The problem with that, though, is that inflation has generally been trending down, but that's not what Americans feel. And so you really have to be able to hit on that tone of how are you feeling? Are you able to keep more of your hard-earned paycheck? Or is more and more being taken away from taxes, or you're not getting those promotions and raises, those sorts of things. So I think that needs to be the angle that they're putting on here, and give everyday American stories of people who've been affected. And I think that goes a long way when you're able to show those personal anecdotes.
We're 7 days out, as we've said, and there's a lot to keep our eye out on between now and then, but specifically when it comes to early voting, when it comes to these final last days, what are you specifically having your eye out on?
That's a great question. Definitely trying to see what early voting returns look like. Democrats have been generally the ones to vote early, but Republicans usually turn out more. So I think looking at those comparisons, I know Elon Musk is tweeting something about Pennsylvania yesterday. I don't necessarily buy what he's saying because he said the Republicans in the state have come out so much more than they did in 2020. But the fact is that Democrats are still exponentially leading Republicans in those early voting. So I think being able to digest the source and pay attention to who and what is saying it and sharing it is really important for all of us. And keeping an eye on those swing states, Nebraska too as well. It doesn't look super great for Trump as of yesterday when I saw a poll that came out. We'll see though. There's still 7 days out. Things can change.